The following is a conversation with Alexander Phillips. Alex is the #1 real estate agent in Australia and has been for a decade. He joins me on the podcast to talk about what it actually takes to operate at that level, the preparation, the process, and the relentless drive that most people never see behind the results. We get into what's happening in the property market right now, why he thinks it's one of the hardest markets in 20 years, and how he manages the pressure of carrying 40 plus listings and selling around 200 properties a year without losing his mind. But we also go deeper than real estate. Alex talks about what success has cost him personally and why circuit breakers aren't optional at his level. He's someone who has redefined what's possible in this industry, and he's honest about the gap between how it looks from the outside and what it actually takes to sustain it. If you're enjoying the podcast and you're not yet subscribed, I'd love to ask a small favor. If you hit subscribe, it helps me secure new guests and keeps the conversations coming. Thank you. We good?
Can we start?
Okay. All right. So before we get into it, what's the funniest or weirdest thing you've ever experienced at an open house?
Weirdest thing I've experienced at an open house, probably what I've done back like 20 years ago, really hungover, went to a pie shop, a White's Bakery on McPherson Street, and I sat down out the back eating a pie. No one's in the open home, and I heard someone walk in, and I just flung the pie, and it landed and splattered all over the neighbour's balcony at the rear. And the neighbours came out and had a pie all over their house. So yeah, that's probably the funniest I can remember.
So that's what you did. What about what somebody else has done?
Probably hanging shit in the open house and smell out the whole open house. Pretty bad.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty shit. Yeah.
Wow, the public.
Yeah. They're pretty, they don't really care, do they? They just come in, touch anything, grab anything. Like we don't get anything stolen, but they just think they own it.
That is true. People open, like I always question, why do people open cupboards and look in wardrobes? That's so irrelevant.
I know, yeah.
And they use the bathroom.
Yeah, pretty bad.
On that topic, what makes you laugh?
What makes me, just stuff like that. What makes me laugh? Mucking, like, you know, probably for me at work and like even at my, personal life, I don't take things sort of too seriously. I try not to, although we are, pretty hectic in what we do. But hanging around good mates, family, friends, having a muck around, talking to you today, and I'm sure we'll come up with some good stuff that makes us both laugh. But laughter is definitely something that keeps me, it keeps me going and it sort of makes it not so serious, I think.
So you come across as serious, but my personal experience with you, and we'll get into this, is that I don't think you are that serious.
I'm serious in like most aspects of what I do, but you can't be serious in everything. I think seriousness means you're like fully regimented. I think that's, a problem to actually live your life, in the fullest in, doing stuff outside just work, which, I do a lot of, with holidays and, going out for dinners or, sport or whatever it might be. But yeah, you can't be all serious, 100% of the time. Definitely not.
So like on that, when you take out real estate, like all the deals, success, like who are you?
Good question. I think my life has been really consumed by real estate, probably like more than what it should have been or has been. But, I do love it. Like, so I suppose because I love it so much, I don't see it as work, and probably therefore I don't get so emotional about it. Like, as in like when we lose a listing, lose a sale, like it's just, it doesn't consume me that much. And therefore, I enjoy it a lot more than I think most. I think that's why I haven't been burnt out. I think probably most agents, with the amount of work hours I do and how hard I work, by now would have been burnt out. But who am I? Like, I come from a great family. I've got a great family with my wife and starting a family and whatnot. But I'm someone that enjoys the fruits of my labor by, lots of travel, but travel in a way of like seeing the world, doing different things, not working while I'm away, and hanging out with people, with my friends and family.
Yeah. What brings you peace?
Well, I don't have peace yet because I feel like I haven't accomplished everything that I want to accomplish in life. And I think that's sort of what pushes me. And I'd like to think probably in 10 years' time, then I've finished working, and then, that's then when, the second part of my life starts. So, I'd like to have a goal. Haven't had to actually set it in stone, but by mid-50s, don't have to work anymore.
So how old are you now?
46.
Okay, so in 10 years from now,
Yeah.
you feel like that'll be the next phase of your life.
Yeah, correct.
So you've
yeah.
still got 10 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
Doing
yeah.
what you're doing right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Gee.
Yeah. But I think like what I've done, I suppose like for me, I'm lucky in the way that since I first started like my career in real estate, like the second year I bought my first property, and like every year pretty much I've almost bought a house or a property, throughout my, career. Like I've owned a lot of real estate, which I think obviously has compounded a lot. And I think, within 10 years time, there's more of that, and then you pay off that debt, and then you live off, that, and, maybe do, have other investments, or, take your foot off the pedal and enjoy your family, your friends more. And that's, I think real estate has probably stopped me from doing like full enjoyment. Like, I see you more overseas than I see you here, but that shouldn't really happen. You know what I mean? Like, because it's so like 24/7 what I do, and it's sort of embedded in me. So it does definitely affect what I'm surrounded by, while I'm in, while I'm working day in, day out.
So is it almost like that attitude, like I'll be more peaceful when I get here? Like, do you feel like that's what you need to achieve before you will give yourself permission to switch off?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I never will. Like, but I see a lot of people like that. I see like a lot, like I look at some family, like, or even good friends of mine, like that, where their parents are still working at 70, 80, and like, but that's because they love it. They don't see it. It depends on how you see your work. Like, do you love your work? I love it. A lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people go in because they have to, and they're trying to make ends meet. They're trying to like just make sure they live day to day. I think I've been lucky enough what I've done. I don't need to do that, but I'm so competitive and driven that I still want to be the best. And I still want to, like, I think something that I've done in real estate, I think evolved real estate a little bit in our processes, what we do. And I think a lot of people look at us as like the pinnacle of real estate, and they're trying to like mimic us or chase us, but that also makes us go to another level and get better and better. And it's sort of, I think in turn helps make the real estate industry better and more professional, and create a better perception in the marketplace about what real estate agents are, because of how we actually do things, how we treat, both vendors, buyers, how we treat the entire marketplace. I think, I looked at like John McGrath did that when I first started 20 years ago, and I feel like we've been able to help build that momentum as well.
I'm going to ask you about your drive and your competition, but before I do that, I just want to touch on that sort of personal aspect one more time. So what's something in your life right now that matters to you more than real estate?
Matters to me more than real estate, having a family.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's something, I'll put on hold for probably longer than what I would have liked to, because I've just got caught up in real estate and haven't, like I'm starting, having a family late, but you can't live in the past. It is what it is, but I'm still 46. I still think I'm young, fit, healthy. And the great thing is that, if I want to retire in 10 years time and I don't need to work, I don't need to work and raise a family. So that's to me, something that, I'm really looking forward to.
Okay. When I went out to Instagram and I asked people for questions, and the overwhelming question that people were asking was, everybody wants to know, like, what is driving you? Because it can't possibly be money anymore. But what is driving you?
It's not, I just feel, it's not, it sort of is, it is, it's everything. It's making sure that, in 10 years time, I can retire whenever I want. I can go overseas whenever I want. I could, if I decide not to work for 6 months, but get back into it, I could if I wanted to. But I think it's just like, it's the competition that I love that drives me. And I think it's because we've built so much momentum in what we do, and how many sales we do each year. It's very hard not to get caught up in that, and it's probably it's the thrill of it. I love I'm probably got a ADHD or some sort of disease that sort of makes me just want to do more and not concentrate on things every minute of every day. And I think that's what real estate's good for me. And I think that there's, even though we're successful, there's still things that we haven't done in my head that we'd like to do as a team, as a business, that we can do better and better. And I think the thing is, what we do is every day we try and get better, and we try and do more and more, and it's sort of trying to keep going to new levels. And it's just the inner drive, I think, that I love, and it hasn't burned away in any way.
Almost like an obsession, right?
Yeah, it is.
But a healthy obsession.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's to do what we do, you have to. Yeah, it's a health. I reckon it is. Yeah, definitely.
It's what's interesting, because I've looked at your career, and like
we both started about the same time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll never forget that Josh Fegan did a presentation at ARIC probably around 2010. And on that presentation, I think I'm correct in this, but he put a picture of you and me on the board.
Oh, yeah, I remember that actually, yeah.
And I think my figures in 2010 were actually slightly better than yours.
Yeah.
But I've openly said one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in real estate was very early on hitting all my goals. Because once I hit all my goals, I wanted to become number one in my market, and I did all that at 28. And then as a result of doing that, I took my foot off the pedal. Whereas what I thought, you were in a much bigger pool, and you were probably chasing down all these other agents. So I look at that as a fork in the road, and you just went like that. And then I sort of went sideways.
Yeah, I think probably what I learned early on is, I suppose, by us being that REB number one agent 10 years in a row, you sort of got a target on your head. I use that as a way of making sure that we remain committed and we don't get complacent. The problem is when you hit your goals early and you don't stretch those goals, you become very complacent. And that's probably what happened with you. You know what I mean? You just go, I've done it. So where I go, okay, I did this last year, I've got to do this. We always, every year, every month, make sure we're getting better and better. And I push my team to do that as well. So it's sort of I am very goal orientated and in my head, always trying to get better, do better, and create, more sales that way. So I think it's probably, that's probably comes to that drive and,
Well, you know what? Also on that point, this is something that I'm not sure if you know Dave Gray.
Yeah, I know Dave. Yeah.
Dave said something really interesting, because I look at what you do, and sometimes
I saw Dave Gray at the airport the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
He's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
And I've looked at your career and I thought, God, that must be exhausting. But he said something really interesting. He said, when you look at an Olympian, when they're sort of obsessed, if they were training every day, all day, 6-7 days a week, you'd look at that Olympian and you would admire them and say, look at the work they're doing. And I never sort of I never referenced that back to real estate. That's essentially what you're doing. You're essentially an athlete or an Olympian.
Yeah.
Just happen to be in the property market, and there's an obsession.
Yeah.
So in a sport context, we would celebrate you. In a work context, probably people are critical or can be critical.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've probably had some of that criticism, right?
Yeah, we get a lot of criticism, but I think the good thing is, I suppose, what people see about us in the market, but we don't get, I think agents actually look up to us more than try and bring us down, because they see what we do. And I also I've got a good name, and when anyone calls me, I have conversations with them. If someone asks me for advice from a competitor or, from around Australia, I'm always got time, a bit of time for them. Not that much time, but enough time. So I think because we're also, I'd say what people would say about it is we're hardworking. People probably presume we're arrogant and up ourselves, but I feel like we're quite the opposite. We're approachable. We talk to people. We're not, we're inviting. We have good conversations. We're not dickheads in any way. And I think that automatically breaks down that and creates a better, perception about us and, in the marketplace, definitely.
I think within the industry, you also give back. I find that fascinating that you do a podcast with Josh Fegan.
We've done almost 600 of them. So every second or third Sunday, I'm down in Double Bay doing it for, they're only 5 to 10 minutes. They get like 10,000 downloads, 5 to 10,000 downloads a week, which is good. But we've been doing it now for fucking 10 years. It's a long time. But, like I like it because I also learn from Josh. I ask him questions: what's happening in the market, what's happening in Balmain, what are you hearing out there? Like, what can we be doing better? So it's sort of like a learning thing as well. So it's sort of that's my sort of little bit of training I do to make sure that we're also staying relevant and on top. And I get ideas around tech from him and what we should be saying in the market and whatnot.
But
so
you're also openly saying what you do, and your competitors are listening.
Yeah, we're definitely. I think what we've probably been, but I don't like. For what do you do? Hold back and not like we've. There's a lot of our competitors in our marketplace basically are doing what we do every day, and they've definitely caught up to us. We're still a fair way ahead, but that's also, I suppose, what makes us competitive as well. Is that we're like going, shit, these guys are on our tail. What do we need to do to stay relevant, stay fitter, stay healthier, stay level-headed, and keep ahead. So yeah, we have, but I feel like that's a good way of giving back. Like it's and I feel our processes are probably the best in the real estate business in Australia on how we talk to people, the dialogue, how we progress sales, pre-auction, at auction, post-auction, and we're happy to let everyone know about that.
I listen to that regularly, and I think it's really interesting because what you experience, you're typically like 2-3 weeks ahead of the rest of the market. So what you say, then I'm pretty sure I would assume the rest of the industry feels maybe a couple of weeks later, because I think that's a benefit of high volume. You're having more conversations with more buyers, more conversations with more sellers. You're reading the patterns. You know what open houses, like what's happening.
Exactly.
So and you share that. I think that's awesome. Do you still feel pressure?
Yes.
When do you feel pressure?
But not. Probably. Do I feel pressure? Yeah, like when, say, when we don't hit our goals, I feel a bit of I push, and then but it's probably, the pressure can sometimes come from when you got multiple clients that are in a position where they're forced to sell and need to sell, and they're putting the pressure on you. But do I go to bed at night and sleep easily? Yes. Does it keep me up? No. Probably it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't really affect me that much because we've got other things to keep us out of mind.
So how do you do that? Because I remember having that conversation with you. So you, right now, I think you got 44 properties online.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we won't even talk about how you manage that, right?
Yeah.
But I know that there are clients at the moment that are projecting their stress onto us. I sold a property yesterday where these poor clients were hoping for 2.6, 2.7. And in the end, they sold a house for 2.25. They purchased for 2.3 only 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they'd committed, mid sixes. They'd spent that sort of money, and that would have been so stressful for them. And, they're asking you all the time, what's going on? What's going on?
It's about being in front of that. So you're calling them before they're calling you. So every morning I'm going, okay, this is our list. Who do I need to call? Who do I need to say, this is what we've done for your property yesterday. This is what we're going to do today. They're always looking for cracks, I think, as well. They're looking to put the pressure back on you. Why hasn't it sold? What you're doing? But if you're in front of them and you're proving that you're working hard and going the extra mile, then they can't really come back on you that way. But it's having these conversations now when the market is probably one of the hardest markets I've ever seen, to tell them before they go on the market, this is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to guide. This is probably what you need to expect. If you don't have a motivation of more than 5 out of 10, I wouldn't be selling it. But it's having really direct, hard conversations early, not after it goes on. That's where the mistake is, I think.
And then how do you sort of put that, what is your process at night so that you don't take that home with you or you don't take it to bed? Do you have some sort of ritual, or is it just knowing that you've done everything you can and now it's
have a
time to
bath
switch
and
off?
not think about it? As long as everything's been ticked off that I can do. Sometimes you might miss a few things. You do it first thing in the morning, but because of the team environment that we've got and how good my team is, they're the best of the best. My team, I feel, are better than most agents in the marketplace, that they take a lot of that load off. So it's not like the 44 properties I'm filling every 44 vendors. They're filling it as well, and they're crossing off and doing all the right things too. So it does get spread out too.
So you share the load. So you
Share
have
the
the right
load,
team.
yeah, the right team that can push back on vendors, do deals, get vendors at the right pricing. You know, vendors that will listen to them too. Like I see teams where someone's talking to a vendor, the vendor has no respect for them because I feel like, oh, they're the underling, which is not a good thing. But our guys are my guys are so good that they're seen as market leaders essentially.
Yeah, an extension of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you say this is one of the hardest markets you've ever seen, can you just elaborate on that?
So like if you go wind back to last 20 years that you and I have been selling, or even longer, like GFC was easy, I found, because they brought in the first home buyers grant, and every property I was selling was 500 or 600, 700,000, which is now worth 1.15, and they're all rolling out the door. So you're still selling a lot of real estate, and like the debt levels back then were probably a third of what they are now. And then you've got between the next 15 years, you've had credit crunches. You've got a war now. You've got a lot higher interest rates. You've had COVID. Like I feel like where we're at the moment is that there's such a big disconnect from vendors and buyers, and there's so many vendors that if you bought between 21 and 25, you're selling for less generally. That's probably the biggest hurdle to get over at the moment. That like what you just said. Like we saw one a month ago in Tama. They paid 6,250, went for 5,500. Like we're selling units that they paid 1,400, going for 1,200. So there's people out there as well that probably borrowed 80 to 100% that actually they should have been renting for 3 years. So that conversation, because people's perception in real estate in Sydney is it always goes up, you always make money. But hang on, this is not the case at the moment. I'd say 70% of properties that were bought 21 to 25 are going for less.
Yeah,
at any price point.
That's what I was sort of alluding.
So you're trying to tell someone to like that they're tearing up equity, but that's the markets. Markets have ebbs and flows, go up and down. Doesn't always go up. So you got to be, you can't get emotional about that. And that's what I think we're good at, just plowing through that and just giving them the reality of where it is. But you got to understand why they should be taking less. I think it's just as a general observation, like we have 5 properties at the moment in our office that were purchased in 23, and they all have offers 10% below what they were purchased for. So it's not like trying to recover stamp duty in the same price. It's a genuine 10% gap. Yeah.
And I find that if someone rings me and they bought in 21, like my instant thinking is this might be just an exercise to recoup the same purchase price.
So there's a lot of stress out there because of that. And you can feel it in agents. You can feel it in the general community. You feel it sort of everywhere. So I think you can't let that get into your head, because then it snowballs you into the negative mind frame. And that's why, like, if you've got a clear head and you've got a good process and in your deep down that you're doing everything possible, and you've got other opportunities out there as well, that you don't let that stress get to you, and you're going to still be able to like plow through a tough market, which is probably going to stick around for another 6 months at least.
Yeah, I hear. I want to come back to also, let me just focus on you, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions. What do you think separates you mentally from your competitors?
What separates me from our competitors is how well prepared, and like every appointment I go into, disappointment, vendor meetings, appraisals, auctions, the pre-preparation that we do, because everyone just thinks I just rock up there and like talk. Like everything is so well planned out, brainstormed, ask the right questions, so that when I'm in front of someone, that like everything's been like spoken about correctly. But I'd say one thing that I see versus say when I sit in an appraisal with other colleagues or other agencies, they're always fully attentive all the way through it. Like I've never seen anyone in the last 10 years like go on their phone or speak to their kids or something like that they switch off. So I'd say it's the preparation.
Sorry, keep going.
We're smart in the real estate world on how to speak to people.
So like as you're talking, I'm thinking so outside of who you are and your desire to achieve your goals and to be better, you have a really good team. You have a plan, you prepare. obviously you have a skill set and 20 years of experience. Like you can see all these layers starting to stack
Yeah.
up.
Like even in like little things. So like last night I had all my breakfast laid out for this morning. I had all my clothes laid out, my gym clothes, my work clothes. I like looked at my calendar, like, then in a week's time I know where I'm going. Like it's all quite structured, which means you're not frazzled. Like I've already had a meeting today and I've got like 10 meetings in front of me, but I'm not sitting here like going, fuck, what, I diverted my phone while I'm in here. Like it's all, see, when you pre-plan and you have structure and you have people to help you around that, you're also, because if you think about how busy we are, I think most people would lose a lot of business because their head would be just spinning. Like if you had 44 listings, you're just like going, fuck, and you're sitting in front of someone, you're not going to get their attention. They're going to feel that. So that, then I think also a lot of our clientele are thinking that they're so busy. How is he going to act? Like, and that's, obviously other agents use that against us, but we're so like on and so attentive and so prepared that they're pretty amazed by that, I would say.
Yeah. My experience with you is like I think when we spoke about the sale of our last property, you were there, you were present, it's not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I think you've messaged me 3 times about this appointment. You confirmed. You're very intentional, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you just about, like, can you give the general public, just because you're relaxed, like I feel your energy now, you feel quite relaxed, right? But can you give the general public an idea of just what you do in a day? Because I don't think people have any idea, and I don't think real estate agents have any idea how much you do. So can we just start at like, what time do you wake up?
4:15 today. I woke up a bit late at 4:30.
What time do you go to bed?
Last night 8:30, but normally like 9:30. Yeah.
Okay. So you're up really early. What do you do when you wake up?
I wake up. I'll run a bath, have a look at my emails, anything overnight, clear that, confirm I actually don't confirm appointments that early. I'll go train, normally at home or with my personal trainer. I only do like half an hour. Have my breakfast, watch the news in the morning. I always watch the news in the morning, but like between 5 and 5:30, and just see sort of what's happening, understand what's happening in the markets globally and whatnot. I leave home, then I go to Larderia for a coffee in the morning. I then confirm all my appointments of the day. So I do it, no one else does. So like everything's fully planned. You don't miss anything. Then I go into the office. Like this morning I went in early and I write notes for each one of my appraisals because I was thinking about who the person is, what do I need to talk about, the questions I've asked before going in to see them. So I'm like really well prepared. We've got like 4 appraisals today. So I've written notes for all those 4 appraisals to put on the boys' desk so all my kits are prepared correctly with the right brochures and the right buy lists and whatnot. So then I'll go back and have those kits ready to go. So that generally happens between 6:45, 7:15, and I start making calls from 7:30. Then generally I'm out of the office from like 9 for the rest of the day, or coming and going, doing vendor meetings, appraisals. Like normally we do like between 60 and 80 appraisals a month. So you got to break that down to each day, how many you're doing. Then you got to be doing sales, vendor meetings. So normally each day there's like 2 to 4 appraisals, 1 to 3 vendor meetings, but also then you got to try and call all the vendors each day.
And then what about buyer appointments or open houses?
Yeah, lots of buyer, and then all open houses. On today we've got 3. Tomorrow I've got like 30, and then Saturdays. So
in the next 2 days,
yeah,
that's 30, 35. You've got like 40 appointments.
Yeah.
So you're doing 40 appointments in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
How many phone calls do you think you'll make as well in the next 48 hours?
So I sold a house on what I would say Wednesday or Monday in Bronte, like a $12.5 million sales, a great sales. And I've called everyone in that street and the surrounding streets yesterday in my database. There would have been like 50 calls, I reckon, plus in all the vendors and everything. I reckon I do like on an average 100 calls to 120 calls a day.
Okay, so 40 appointments, 200 phone calls. Hang on, what else?
Yeah, and then but my appointments are quite short. Like appraisals are 40 to 45 minutes, vendor meetings in 10 to 15 minutes.
How many, in this hour that we're recording right now, how many times will your phone ring?
That's why I diverted it. It 8 to 9, because I've already made a few calls this morning, people calling me back, probably have like 8 to 10 missed calls.
Okay, and then what I noticed with you is if I call you, either answer or you call me back within 15 minutes.
Yeah. So the first thing I do is also I call everyone back just straight away. Yeah.
I find that like
Yeah. Because you divert your phone. Don't you
I
have two
used to,
numbers or something?
I used to, but I don't now because I'm
Yeah.
not doing enough volume to warrant that. So
Yeah.
actually, I want to take the phone calls.
Yeah.
But it is. I was doing that.
Did that affect your business?
Yeah, but I was something had to change because my health and like my mental well-being and where I was with the separation, I had to change.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice, and I wanted to change.
Yeah.
I just
So have you gone back to your normal day-to-day real estate that you were like before you had your cancer and had your divorce and everything?
So I've gone back to 6 days a week.
Do you like that or not?
Yeah, like there are elements of real estate that I love, right? And I actually enjoy tougher markets because I feel like the market actually values my skill set. So I've had 4 team sales in the last 48 hours.
Oh, that's great.
So like every time things get tough, like I actually get better. And I find it, I don't know, like I find in a good market,
You find too easy to get bored?
not that, I just think everyone goes in and everyone sounds the same. And then, you know, like in this market, when you sit in front of someone, you better have a plan. But the thing that we're always accountable is to our track record. So people can go in and say what they want, but at the end of the day, if they have to justify their last month, the least I can do it and say, yeah, this is my plan and they're my results. So that's what I like.
So even me sitting here today, I learned from something like that and I go, well, shit, we don't talk about our experience that much. Do you know what I mean? Like we just go in and talk about, like we don't talk about, you know, being through 4 of these marketplaces. Like that's pretty powerful when you sit in front of a vendor that's bought that needs to sell.
Yeah.
You know, knowing how to like, you know, stay calm. Because it's also, you know, a lot of agents don't know how to stay calm in this environment. They're panicked.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things. So like,
Yeah,
how you manage yourself, but also think like right now, what I say to my clients is the most important like attribute is composure. Like stay composed, have a plan. Like know that sometimes, like, because we want things to. I checked as well. Like you've had 200 sales and your average selling time is 18 days.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not 200 sales, but like let's say 100 team sales. But I think my average days on market is very similar to yours.
Yeah.
So we're used to things happening quickly.
Yeah.
But because I've done the GFC and COVID and all the bits and pieces, I'm like, yeah, sometimes right now.
Right now, it's like we're seeing a 3-speed. Like some go quick, some take 30 days, but that's where the experience and the composure comes into play because you're not panicking. I haven't sold it in 18 days, but I reckon a lot of agents out there that sort of try and do what we do or are trying to go, I've got to hit these days on market, panic or they don't actually understand. But the vendors then lose faith in them.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And I think at the moment, good agents, the best agents are the ones who can build trust with their clients.
Yeah.
And the only way to build trust is to earn trust. You can't create it or make it up.
No.
You have to show them that you're trustworthy. And that's where a good agent comes in.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, so just about some of these competitors coming through.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's some like good competition and you've probably inspired a lot of these people. But instead of like, I think it's easier to be number 2 than it is to be number 1 chasing, but you're number 1.
Yeah.
But you seem to love, do you actually like the fact that all these younger agents are coming through and they are trying to chase you down? Like that's probably their goal to an extent.
Yeah, it is. And it's sort of, I think if they did, I don't know if they, I think either way, if they did or didn't, we'd still be trying to get better and build better processes and be smarter. And like, so the good thing is with that, it does change the industry, but it makes us like every day, like every team meeting we have, we're trying to work out what we can do to be 1% better every time. So it's sort of like, I think that's one thing is why, like over say, you know, 10 years ago, we steamrolled a lot of agents that like we just came through and steamrolled them. Now half of them are retired or like just doing 10 deals, 20 deals a year because we just like, and they just sort of went, fuck, how do we handle this? And they couldn't. And they've maybe just got older and taken their foot off the pedal. So we've then gone, and then there's these, the new breed are coming through and trying to do that. But we're like, no, hang on, we're not going to let that happen. We're just going to keep getting better and keep evolving, keep asking people what we can do better. Like now the industry, even sitting here today, I learned something, speaking to Josh, looking at different technology. Like, so we're always like, being smart and not allowing that to happen. Just stay a step ahead all the time.
What about on the flip side of that? When things aren't going your way, how do you deal with that?
That happens a lot. Like it's sort of, I suppose what I look back, when like a lot, that does happen a lot. You might lose like 8 listings in a row. Like, and that can happen. Then I just think about, fuck, where I'm at. And I go, well, whatever. there's another 8 balls in front of us. What can I do to just make sure we get those 8? Because there's so many opportunities and balls in the air that you go, don't call the vendor and go, why didn't you give it to me? Fuck, I don't care. Like, whatever, I lost the listing. Let's move on, find the next 8 opportunities. So because there's the abundance mentality, like there's so much that we like just go, okay, whatever. Might sound a bit bad that, but it is, because you know, we've got so much, you know, opportunity. We just put a line in the sand and like be pretty blunt about it and go forward, not look back.
On your success, right? So like you've just rewritten what's possible and what you can achieve in real estate.
Yeah.
So you seem to do that every year as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first year that, let's say, I don't know, you wrote a certain amount in GCI, which for the audience who's not real estate is gross commission income. It's one of the ways that we measure ourselves. Do you remember like doing something really high where you're like, Jesus, like, wow, that's a lot? What year was that?
2007, I think it was, when we sold like 2 houses back to back in Bronte and Waverley, one for $1 million above reserve, one for 500. And that's what really then like catapulted us into those marketplaces. Like we did smart things, like both of them were on the front page of the Domain magazine, or the Domain, you know, lift out then. So we actually got Domain to give us 1,000, and we hand rolled them and delivered it to all the suburb with a handwritten note. So it was more what we used off the back of those sales and cold calling the streets, and then building a database and maintaining the database.
But what about you? What about, like, I'm asking, when you checked your bank account and you're like, oh, wow.
I think I've only ever had that when I reckon 15 years ago when I sold my properties and I was just renting. Because I've always like never really had that much money in my bank accounts, because I keep buying real estate and having debt, and like pushing myself to do that. So it's not like, that's probably also what drives me. There's never any money in my bank account, because either it's invested somewhere, or I don't log on and go, oh shit, there's $1 million. And this never is, because it's sort of all like always doing something. So
I think, how many properties do you have?
I think 12.
And what, all around
Or
eastern suburbs?
Yeah. And they're all pretty like, it's all good real estate, I think, yeah. Like, 11, I think it is, yeah.
What do you think you're worth?
I don't know. I'm not going to say. But I think probably, I think like I've got a financial guy that takes all my money out, pays taxes. Like I'm very rarely behind on tax, like, which I think most agents probably are. Like anyone sitting, I reckon probably 50% of them sitting here today probably have a big tax bill. And I'm the worst at that. So I've got someone that does that. So I think also that not sitting around like looking at a great bank account probably pushes me a lot too.
You said, because I asked you what it's like to be you, or what keeps, I asked you that off camera a week ago, and you said, I have responsibilities.
Yeah, a big responsibility. Like I'd say probably like I own like a lot of high end real estate, but I reckon like still 30 to 40% of it's debt.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's still like, it's a lot, and you know, it's
What role does money play in your life now?
Money just allows me to do what I want to do whenever I want.
Do you have a favorite possession?
That's a good question. It'd probably be like a jacket or something, like not like a watch or a car. It'd be something that I'd have to come back to you on that, but it's probably a memory of something that I've bought somewhere that had a great experience with it. Like,
I think where you're different to most other agents,
it's probably my Polo Sport jacket that I bought like 25 years ago. That reminds me of being, you know, a kid running around that I still wear today. I don't know, something like that.
No, I love that. I think when like agents, obviously we're not really sort of liked by the general public, and probably rightfully so, but I think maybe you're a little bit different in the sense that no one can, like, what you do and how hard you work. Because also, do you do 7 days?
Yes, yeah, mate. Yeah, but only like a couple of hours on a Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I just want to come back to like just acknowledging.
But like going into that though, like it looks, but we still do 10 weeks holiday a year, or 8 to 10 weeks holiday a year. So like it's, you know, and then they're proper holidays because I'm not my phone's on divert. So if you divide it up, it's probably still working a lot less than what other agents do.
Okay. No, probably not. That's not the case. What's the hardest client you've ever had?
Oh, fuck. There's so many.
Have you had famous clients?
Heaps. Heaps, yeah.
Can you say any?
Tony Collette. We've had heaps of famous clients. I'd have to think about that.
What do they like to deal with, the celebs?
They're fine because what we learned early on is that we're not going to deal with their middleman. So we say, no, we want to deal with them direct. So the problem is I always have these agents or middlemen that actually don't feed the right information. So we say, no, we only want to deal with them if we're dealing with them directly, if they're making the decision.
And have you dealt with billionaires?
Heaps, yeah.
Same thing?
There's lots around here where we are today. I think when you earn the respect from them, and they actually, like, I've had billionaires ask for us for advice on how to buy, what's happening with the market. I get them calling me asking for advice. So I think when you have like good conversations with them and you understand the market, you're not like sucking up to them, and you're having like we just treat them like a normal person. And also try and learn from them. A lot of the billionaires, all right, that we've dealt with is probably we've got respect because we've done a lot of buy work with them, because they've gone, okay, we're looking at these houses. I'm buying for a couple of kids. What do you have? Show me. And you show them 5 or 6 houses, or you deal with them. They buy multiple properties from you. So they call you for advice, or they call you for, they're doing big DAs on houses. They ask for advice from you. So it's probably treating them like the normal clientele that you deal with, and just cutting and just speaking to them on a normal level. Not like, I think a lot of people would treat them differently and act to them differently. They can sense that.
Interesting. Coming to your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
So what has success cost you personally?
Probably having a family and not enough time with my family and wife, I would say, and friends.
Do you have any time for yourself?
Yes.
So what what does that look like?
Like between 4 and 6 in the morning.
Okay, so that's your time.
Yeah.
Because I think solitude's important.
Yeah, it is. Like I
people.
love it. Like I get up early, I can have a bath, I watch TV, my phone's not ringing.
You love baths.
Yeah, I love baths. Yeah.
Why?
It's like your sauna on the balcony.
Oh, is that right?
I just don't have a space for a sauna. I haven't got one.
Yeah, okay.
It just chills me out. So yeah, I do. Yeah, there's time every day that I have that. Yeah, so I'd say 2 hours a day is a good chunk.
And how does that feel for Bridget?
She likes sleeping in, so I bring her coffee and make her breakfast and whatnot. But then we go, to dinners. We have dinner at home every night. We go away on long holidays. We still do spend a lot of time with each other, but there could be more of that. I think there's always a bit of a sacrifice.
Yeah, okay. Has there ever been a moment where you question whether this was all worth it?
Sometimes, yeah.
So, like, do you remember that moment, or what that moment would be?
Yeah, like I think, no, sometimes I go, why don't I just pack up and like forget about it? And I don't know, you just get sometimes probably into a negative state because of, you might have a bit of pressure on, or you go, fuck it, do I really need to be doing this? But then that goes away pretty quickly, I find.
When was the last time you felt like that?
Probably a couple of weeks ago.
And then what triggered that?
Probably a shit market.
Is that when we were supposed to record this and you rung me and you said, look, I'm just going to go to...
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Exactly that. So, I need to get away. Yeah.
And that's how you dealt with it?
Yeah.
So you just booked a week away?
Yeah.
And did you feel better?
Yeah, he's better.
Do you work when you're on holidays?
No.
Did you work that week?
No. I made like probably 5 phone calls.
Yeah.
I really switch off though. Like you've seen me, like it's just like, it's like you said, it's different, like I'm good at just, yeah. And I'm good at like, if you lose 10 listings, you lose 10 listings, but fuck, you need to get your head right.
It's interesting because like where were we overseas? Maybe
Saint-Tropez,
yeah. Like just hanging out with you and Bridget, like even I think we were playing that Raquetta's game on the beach.
Yeah.
I even felt like, wow, there's a human side to you.
Yeah.
Because like we just, like I don't know, just see you as a machine. I don't think people truly understand what you do.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
And I think...
But you can only work like a machine like I do if you have massive like circuit breakers. I think a lot of agents don't. I reckon why they're burnt out too. Like even some competitors recently that have burnt out because they just work too hard and then other people steamroll them. Like you have to, and that's why you like it just mentally, you can't get up at 4 a.m. every morning. You can't do that. You got to have like big chunks in between. I think I've always done that. It's always well known that I do that, but that's why I think we stay at where we are today. Like I think if I didn't go away for that week and I was sitting here today, I'd be a very different energy than what I am today.
Well, okay. So your energy on holidays, this is my observation.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, you were just like, you were actually really good fun. And I really like, we were on the beach, we had lunch together, all that was awesome. I did notice when we came back, because I saw you at Icebergs, like, I don't know, it was when we were back in Sydney, you were still pretty good. And then 2 weeks later, your energy was really frazzled.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I observed that
The change.
switch. Yeah, I'm like, oh, wow.
So when you go into that, like, because you got 44 vendors and all of that's going to frazzle you eventually. Like, it has to. You can't deal. And it's the thing is with what we do versus, say, a lot of other people listening from other industries here, there's so much on the line because they're either like, it's their biggest asset, they've got like shitloads of debt, they've bought, they need to sell, they're stressed out, like particularly at the moment, more and more of that. So you're sort of like, you're dealing with 44 vendors like that, plus probably a few extras because there's divorces and there's estates. So you probably got like 44 means probably 60. Plus then on the other side, you got 44 maybe buyers and then a few others in the outskirts. So there's a lot of that you need to juggle that can like frazzle you, and you can lose it, I reckon. If you don't have circuit breakers, whatever that is for you, if it's a holiday or whatever, switching off.
So tell me again how you manage that on a daily basis. Is that still what you're referring to? Like you go to bed, you wake up, is it like, sounds like a morning routine is what you've got?
Yeah, I reckon I think when I don't do it, like, I think sort of in April I started to not do that, and I felt like I was behind, and like I didn't feel like a sense of calmness. Like, and then it's this week I've really started to get back into that, and I feel like I feel prepared. I feel like because I've already had, I've just had 2 hours to myself. Then I'm in the office early. I was just so well prepared that whatever happens. But like I think what you're saying before, it's like keeping yourself not frazzled or not jumpy and all over the shop.
It's managing your energy.
Yeah.
And I think also just on that point of like some of your competitors that have burnt out, like I've had to reinvent myself as a real estate agent because like I think a lot of people at the 20-year mark do exit the industry.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think it'd be so hard to do that. Like even like what Will did, like to reinvent himself in another marketplace. Like that's nuts. Like particularly when you've been in real estate so long. Like I reckon I don't know how I could do that.
Well, he did.
Like that's amazing that to be able to go like shut up shop, go around Australia, start again in another market, then become the market leader. That's pretty amazing. That like, and to do that in itself is like it's like it's having the balls to do it firstly, but that's like starting from the bottom and going through all the way again. It's like you and me starting when we were 19. Like it'd be hard to do that again now.
No, I hear. So I was going to ask you about Will, but I'll ask you now because you brought him up. So Will Phillips, your brother, he's in Byron Bay, #1 agent in Byron Bay, Sotheby's, and so he was Brezwick Whitney. He's left Sydney, travelled Australia, started again, and now he has the #1 business in Byron Bay, and he's the #1 agent. I know how he feels about you. I probably don't have to tell you, but he obviously admires you. He respects you. He talks about you, and you're an amazing big brother. Yeah. I also know some stories of what you guys did when you were kids, and it's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
But that said, can I ask you, what have you learned from your younger brother?
I think the good thing is like Will, like obviously did, I gave Will a lot of advice early on, and he did like great things by working with Shannon, being in property management for a long time, then working with a great agent like I started with Pauline. Like same thing, you started like with the best people in the industry that helped you get to where you are. That's really why I think we're all at where the levels we're at, because we had the best mentors, Ivan, Shannon, and who I had. And I think the good thing is with us, we always then like I would ask him for advice, he'd ask me for advice all the way through our careers. Like we've sort of been able to bounce off each other a lot, and we still do today. And I think that will always happen. But we're brothers, but we're still very different. I think you'd probably say that too. Like we're both just different types of people, but we both came from a very competitive background with having lots of brothers and a sister that sort of made you like really like want to be better than your brothers. And I think that's why where we are today. And I think I look at, there's no way I could do what he did. Like if someone said like, mate, you've got to leave Sydney, you got to go up to Byron Bay, you can't sell anymore. I couldn't do that. Like mentally, that to me is like
So what would you do? Let's say that did happen.
Become a real estate coach? No, I wouldn't. No, I don't know what I'd do. Go live in the south of France or something. I don't know. Yeah. But I think that to me is amazing what he's done, and to take his family out and reinvent himself, and also find something that he really likes doing. Like he probably got burnt out in Sydney, just went, fuck this, go somewhere else. So like that's pretty amazing. And I think hats off to him for doing that, because it's like definitely changed him who he is and become a better person for it.
Unbelievable courage.
Yeah, it is.
I admire him and respect him so much for that. If we were going to have dinner tonight and I said we can't talk about real estate, what do you think we'd talk about?
Probably the holidays we've been on. Holidays would go on. I don't think cars or watches or anything like that. I hate talking about that stuff. I'd say that what you like doing outside real estate, talk about similar people that we know. Ivan, his training and his Instagram stuff overseas. I know stuff like that.
Do you ever feel lonely at the top?
No, because I've got a great team and great family and wife around me.
And do you have friends?
Yeah, lots. Yep.
Lots of friends around you?
Yeah.
Do you have mentors?
Yeah, I'll say Ivan and Josh, particularly Josh. Yeah.
And I just want to ask you, so we'll wrap up in a minute. So you've been doing it for a long time, but now you're going out on your own.
Yeah.
Just want to give you a platform so do you want to share why you're doing that after all these years?
Yeah, I've served my notice into PPD. I'm leaving, starting up another business. I just want to go to, again, like I'm really trying to push myself, elevate, go to another level and not reinvent, but really use what I've learned over the last 12 years to implement into my team so I can see them grow more and just grow something that's different and better than what we've come out of, which has been a great business and will still always do well.
Okay, viewer questions. No matter how big things get professionally, what role does family play in keeping you grounded?
Well, like over the last few years, there's been lots of things happening in my life, and like they are just a great support network. You know, my sister, my brothers, parents, they're definitely someone that sort of can bring you back in, keep you level head, and get you back on track. So it's a great support network.
Who do you think asked that question?
I don't know who.
Your sister.
Oh, good. Like I said, Susanna. Yeah, good. Yeah,
I'm
and
not
she's
sure
been.
if I was supposed to acknowledge her, but I felt
No,
like
good. Thank you. Yeah, nice. Yeah, she's been a big help.
There you go. All right, another viewer question. Do you ever feel completely relaxed? And if so, how do you achieve that?
I feel, yes, I do. Probably after my 10th day on a holiday for the next 30 days. Because it takes you, that's the thing is with like when you work at these paces, I think it takes you like a week to fully like disconnect. And it's also removing yourself from what you do day to day and like getting out of the routine. I reckon it takes you a week. And then you relax. And then that's when your body goes from 20% and every day gets like more energy and more energy and more energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Can I ask you a couple of quick, short, sharp questions? So first one is, what would a work colleague say about you?
Hardworking, very quick responses, hard to get, but we'll always call you back and have a little bit of time for you, but not much.
What would a competitor say about you?
I think they say good things, but what would they say about me? They'd have the shits that I'm still like really motivated, but it would push them. I don't know. Yeah.
What would a client say about you?
They always just say hardworking and the best in the business. That's what I hear.
What would Bridget say about you?
She loves me. Please call me more during the day, spend more time with me and have a family.
What would your parents say about you?
They're just proud.
I'll add this one in. What would your sister say about you?
Proud, but stop being a dickhead and get better.
What do you mean by that?
She knows.
She knows. Okay, cool. When I did the intro to this video, I just want to add a couple quick things in. So I said, like, what are the biggest lessons that you've, like, just again, keep it short, biggest lessons that you've learned that people could take away from listening to you?
It's a long game. Like I always say to people, it's a long game, a compound. You just got to keep doing the little things right day in, day out. Like I see people rushing it. You can't rush this. Experience takes time and take away all the layers and just do the little things right.
What are the biggest mistakes that people make or mistakes that you've made?
Not listening to good advice and taking time, I think. Yeah.
If you had to sum it up, what's it like to be you?
Great. Feels good. But, you know, still wanting to get better.
Okay. And last question. If you could go back 15 years, 20 years, knowing everything it would take to become number one, would you still choose this path?
Yes. 100%.
Awesome. So your average sale price, your median is just over 4.5 million sales.
Yeah.
18 days, your average time to sell a property.
Yeah.
You got 44 properties online right now. Like what you've done is just, it's hard to process.
Yeah.
The average agent would probably sell 10 or 12 properties a year.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've been doing 200 every year for the last 10 plus years. Yeah.
Wow. And you give back to the industry. I just want to say thanks.
Thanks, Hayden. It's been good.
I've enjoyed our friendship.
Yeah, it's been good.
Well, our holiday
Yeah, yeah,
friendship,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. But also, I think on behalf of the industry, what I'll say is like you do give back a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
I asked you to
I
come on.
like doing that. I'm doing ARIC this year. I meet a lot of people in the offices, in my office, to give them time, and happy to. It's good.
Well, you've set the bar and you've shown people what's possible.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.